we are talking about business.
Yes.
So what is, I want to pick your brain sometimes. So what kind of commercial business do you specialize in?
So I don't do a lot of commercial. I basically sell businesses. My preference is manufacturing and also professional service firms. However, I mean, I've sold everything from, restaurants and pizzerias to dog bakeries, clothing stores, candy manufacturers, aerospace parts manufacturers, plastics and, any type of plastics, extrusion, and vacuum form plastics manufacturers, packaging companies. So I've sold a lot of different types of businesses over the years. I do like the manufacturing, doesn't matter what kind it is, just because it's fun for me. I like seeing how things are made. And I do like the professional service firms because they're professionals, they know how to deal with other professionals, right? So different than selling like a liquor store. I mean, I've sold liquor stores, dry cleaners, hair salons. I've sold all those as well, but I prefer business to business in general.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I saw a couple of restaurants too. Oh, it's painful because the seller usually lost a lot of money before they come to me and wanted to sell the business.
Yeah, the restaurants can be tough. The interesting thing about restaurants is that restaurants can still be sold out even after they're closed down, because they have assets that are in place. So, they can, if they got a full kitchen and walk-in refrigerators and freezers and all of that, and the kitchen's already built out, that tends to be very expensive to do for somebody new. So oftentimes, you can still sell those restaurants even though they're closed and no longer operating.
Have you sold any like self-storage business or like UPS, U-Haul, those kind of business, like self-storage related?
No, I've sold UPS stores, but not UPS, not trucks, not the UPS trucks, or I'm sorry. Okay, sorry. I'm just like distracted with the chat. Bye, Jean.
Bye, Jean.
Thanks for joining. Yeah, I've sold UPS stores. I've sold, but you were saying U-Haul?
Yeah, UPS stores. Yeah, UPS store seems like pretty profitable. I mean, by looking at the business model.
They can be, but anytime you're dealing with a franchise, the franchisor oftentimes is making more money than the franchisee.
That's true.
So you have that partnership going in the franchisor, and then the other thing is the franchisor at any time can say, okay, you have to modernize the store now, so you're going to need to spend $80,000 to redo all the signage, redo everything in the store, remodel it, and the franchisee has no choice but to do it.
Wow.
So the franchisors can they can dictate a lot.
That's true.
So they can be, they can be very profitable, but they also can be difficult.
Yeah, that's true.
Difficult to sell sometimes too. The franchises also, when you have buyers that want to buy, usually they have to go to franchisor training, and they have to pass that training before escrow can close. So I think the last time I sold a UPS store, the escrow went for 5 months.
Wow, that's long.
Because it was just because the buyer had a pre-planned vacation or something else at the time when the franchisor was doing the training, and so they couldn't go to that training, and then there was something happened with the next. So it actually took them like 3 months just to get the training done.
Do you still help people to purchase liquor store in California? Buy or sell liquor, mini mart?
Yeah, I mean, I generally don't. I'll usually refer that to somebody else. So the situation with liquor stores is just that there's so much cash. Usually they're skimming a lot of cash and not declaring it. And then they want the broker to tell the
Mag-
buyer that there's all this
magically.
extra cash.
Magically
Right.
have the second book.
Yeah. So, and since I'm an attorney, I'm held actually to an even higher standard than most brokers.
Mhm.
So I can't afford to have a buyer, run a business into the ground and then sue me for, along with
Right.
everybody else for fraud or for misrepresentation, because that affects not only my broker's license, but also my law license.
I see.
So that's why I really prefer dealing business to business and not with I don't do a lot of retail anymore. Because unless they have clean books and records, or they say, hey, I understand I didn't declare it, so therefore I already derived the benefit, if they're okay with that, fine. But if they jump up and down and say, oh no, I have an extra 10 grand going home in my pocket every month, and you have to tell the buyer, you have to add that to the value, and it's like, yeah, no, I can't do that.
Got it. Thank you.
So, yeah. Yeah, retail can be tough.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, there's a construction company I was just reviewing. They wanted to sell, and so their P&L said they had $1 million in revenue, and their tax return said they had $600,000 in revenue.
Gross
I'm
or
like,
nets, right?
yeah, total sales, gross revenue.
Gross. Wow.
So I
That's
sent
a
them
lot
an
less.
email and said, what? I mean, I can't do anything with that. If you only declared $600,000 and then basically it shows that the business is not profitable, like, what do you want me to sell? I'm not going to tell somebody, oh, the P&L say $1 million, so therefore there's really an extra 400,000 there that was straight profit. It's like, no.
Yeah.
Your tax returns are what they are. So, yeah.
Cool.
All part of the business sale picture.
Mm-hmm.